Donald Trump conducted his overseas trip this past week where things did not go swimmingly for him, but staffers at the White House were terrified before this trip even began that Donald Trump was going to humiliate himself or even be humiliated by Vladimir Putin. Now, here's what was originally supposed to happen on this trip. On Thursday, Donald Trump was supposed to show up, I believe, in Turkey, along with Volodymyr Zelensky from Ukraine and Vladimir Putin of Russia. They were going to sit down, have some diplomatic talks, and try to put an end to this whole mess that Russia started, even though Trump won't admit that. But then, as we got closer to Thursday, it was revealed that Vladimir Putin's not going to show up. He had said Tuesday, I'm going to be there, don't you worry about it. And then shortly after that, Russia was like, yeah, he's probably not going. And that is what terrified Donald Trump's White House staffers. They thought, oh God, Trump's going to show up to this thing. Zelensky's going to be there and there's going to be no Putin and Trump's going to be humiliated. So when they found out that Putin likely wasn't going, they removed it from Trump's schedule and said, you know what? He's not going to show up because we don't want him to be humiliated. That would be the most embarrassing thing ever if he showed up for a peace talk with Putin and Putin pulled the rug out from under him by not coming, which is essentially what Putin was doing. So don't worry, folks. They avoided humiliation on this whole trip, right? I mean, it's not like instead of attending peace talks, Donald Trump went out there and started lecturing another country about what groceries mean. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That is exactly what happened. Trump's staffers were afraid of the wrong thing because Trump did end up humiliating himself. And he did it, by the way, with extremely low energy, sounding like a demented, senile, elderly man that somehow wandered away from the nursing home. Here is what happened when Donald Trump was sitting and talking with leaders from United Arab Emirates. Here it is.
It's jobs, because to me the most important jobs. I want jobs. And we have costs are way down. Groceries, they have a term grocery. It's an old term, but it means basically what you're buying, food. It's a pretty accurate term, but it's an old-fashioned sound. But groceries are down, costs are down, eggs are down. They were, first week they were hitting me with eggs were up 200%, and now they're down to a number that is amazing. We're down 97, 98% from where they were. And everybody, they said, you won't have eggs for Easter. Well, we had everybody had eggs for Easter at a very reasonable price. At the White House, we had our little Easter egg roll, and we had hundreds of thousands of eggs purchased. They said, you have to go out and buy plastic eggs. That didn't work out.
Now, I don't know when in Donald Trump's life he first heard the term groceries. But it's not something that people don't use, right? It's not esoteric. And by the way, the word esoteric is probably a word that you might have to explain the meaning to if you were to use it in front of people that are not from America. But groceries, they understand, they get it. But Donald Trump has repeatedly, in fact, at one point he even claimed he coined the term groceries. He's like, I started using this term groceries, now everybody's using it. He is obsessed with that word, and it makes me think that he went most of his life without actually hearing it. Groceries is not a colloquial term, right? It's not something that's relegated, to a certain class of people. Wealthy people call them groceries. Poor people call them groceries. Working class call them groceries. Right? So why is he obsessed with this word? Why does he think he just now discovered it? Unless, of course, he is suffering from Alzheimer's. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I genuinely do suggest that as a possible reason. If Donald Trump is a person who is unable to retain those long-term memories, but then he hears something like the word groceries, a word that he has heard his entire life, but suddenly that word is brand new to him. He no longer has the memory of what groceries is, the term. So Alzheimer's would fit with that particular, discovery of a new word that he's clearly heard his entire life. So that is certainly a possibility. I also have to do a quick little bit of fact checking here. Trump says egg prices are way down. No, they're not. They're down a little bit, but they are sure as hell not down 97, 98%. You'd be paying, 20 cents for a dozen eggs. That's not a thing. Probably hasn't been a thing since like the 40s or the 50s. Eggs are still sky high, much higher than they were even just a year ago. And he's lying about it. And you can always tell when he's lying because then he goes off on this long, long tangent to defend his lie. Like, they said we weren't going to have any eggs for Easter. We bought thousands of eggs and we just had eggs everywhere. Eggs, just eggs coming out of the sky. Eggs, 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 eggs. And they said there would be no eggs, but there were lots of eggs. Yeah, that's how we know you're lying. When you just keep going on something, that's how we know you're lying. This man is senile. You can tell from that clip he has no energy whatsoever. And yes, staffers in the White House were right to be worried that he was going to humiliate himself. They were just wrong about how he was going to do it. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.